Hey everyone, this is a look at the LEGO Ninjago Movie Manta Ray Bomber set. And I really like just the Manta Ray portion of it. The Manta Ray inspired part of the design, the main body and the wings, if you will. The white parts, the sand blue parts. That's all designed really nicely. And if you'll notice, the two trans red pieces that you see down in there, next to, or actually as kind of part of the mouth on the sides, those are actually spring-loaded shooters, and the shooting mechanism is nicely integrated into the body of the thing. You barely even see it. I mean, it just looks like it's part of the structure of the general build, but the triggers are here and here for those two. You just pull back on this ever so slightly, and out shoots one, pull back on the other, out shoots the other. Works very nicely, and I like it. That's the type of integration of action features that I really like, where it doesn't get in the way of anything and just adds play value. I like the use of the white colored oars for the cephalic fins that are kind of trademarks of Manta Rays, and they've got nice end pieces, these end fin pieces that can be kind of changed in their appearance. You can bring it down, just kind of changes the overall look of the shape of the thing. Up on top, the cockpit area holds two of the Shark Army soldiers. One of them is a pilot, and one of them is a tail gunner. That's cool. They actually use for a sight there, they use the minifig magnifying glass, working magnifying glass piece. So you can actually look through that. Kind of distorts light as it comes through it. These things on the sides are deployable bombs and or missiles. They can be just dropped off the sides or plopped off the sides, however you want to use those. And down below are the power pods. So it's almost like they took a real Manta Ray and then just turned its body, almost like did taxidermy on it, turned its body into the actual craft, and then just stuck these power units down below, which I'm assuming are also working as floats. So if this lands on the water, it lands on the water. It doesn't, end up sinking down beneath it. The tail feels a little flimsy. I mean, it's not attached all that well, but it's not going to come off. I can hold it by this. It's actually sturdy, just feels a little bit flimsy. But certainly my favorite part is just the face up front. The top part with the dinghy, though, that actually can come off. That's intended to be deployable, so it can be used for land the thing and then have your two guys come ashore on this, or you can use it as kind of an escape pod, where if the thing is going down, then it'll splash down with this. This can become the front. You can either turn these into torpedoes, then turn them around, or just leave them behind. Consider them to be fuel tanks, consider them to be rockets if you want. Use your imagination. There are definitely a number of possibilities for what you can do there. The back of the seat is a little bit different. It's not something that you typically see, using a couple of those old Exoforce arms side to side. Yeah, it works. What doesn't work though is this. This is how many pieces we're missing from this set. Yes, LEGO messes up from time to time. This is what I got instead of that handful. So basically within the very first bag, rather than getting one each of two smaller bags inside, they gave me two of the same smaller bag. So fortunately I was able to find the pieces that I needed in my inventory currently. It was a pretty big mess up though. Very rare for LEGO, but it is something that happens, and when it does happen, it's very annoying. If you ever encounter missing parts like that in a set, you do have the option to take the set back to the store where you got it from, if that's convenient to you, and see if that store will take care of you. Most of the time they will, but you also have the option of contacting LEGO customer support directly. They deal with these problems all the time. They're pretty quick, from what I've heard, to get replacement parts out to people. They have a whole department dedicated to it because it does happen. Looking at the minifigures, the first 3 of 4 here. On the left obviously is Cole, followed by a Great White, who is just acting as a pilot for the Manta Ray Bomber. And the guy on the right is called a Shark Army Gunner. He actually has a a special title just for that guy. All right, and each of the Shark Army guys, of course, get their own little light royal blue colored fish-based weapon. And only Cole gets an alternate face out of these three. There's his normal one. This last figure I gave extra space because of what he's carrying. A couple buckets of water on a stick. Now this is a very classic scene that's very appropriate for this movie, given that Mr. Jackie Chan is doing the voice of Master Wu. I mean, how many times did Jackie Chan do exactly this in his old movies in his prime? It's cool to see. I grew up watching those movies, so this is just this is pretty good. It's a simple build, but it definitely does the trick really well. The name of this character, it's a named character in the movie. This is Shen Li. I'm not sure what the significance of him is or will be. He only has one face, but the printing is pretty good. Needs to be a little bit more opaque with the dark tan on the legs, obviously. Some of the blue is kind of showing through. I like the medium nougat colored hat. I wasn't aware that they were doing one of those in that color. And there's a look at the print on the back of this figure, which is pretty appropriate. You know, I can't help but feel that this design, this bomber itself, has more in it than it needs. I feel like this whole set could have been built with fewer pieces by a fair margin, and it still would have had just as much play value and would have been just as interesting. I don't find the separating section to be a compelling feature, and the fact that the bomber itself does not float means that these floats down here don't really do much for it at all. Oh yeah, you can use those fins as actual oars if you don't have a power source for this that you can imagine up. But the main thing is that in the trailers already we see just hundreds, if not thousands, of bombers up in the sky. And I feel like it would have been nice to be able to mass these up more easily, even if there was a set that could possibly have included two simplified versions of this in a smaller scale. So ultimately, I think all this set needed was something like this. Like, just give us the Manta Ray part, which looks awesome. Give us the bombs, and give us a pilot. I mean, obviously it needs a little something else for the cockpit there, but give us the pilot, give us the tail gunner to make it more of a proper World War II inspired bomber sort of design as it is. And I mean, this is great. I love the lines on that. Just as a Manta Ray bomber. Oh, looks like I lost one of my bombs. Where's my other bomb? Here it is. That would work to me, and it would have allowed it to be a cheaper set that would be easier to mass. I mean, the price to part ratio on this one is one of the worst ones in the Lego Ninjago Movie series, which is not saying much because the price to part ratio is so amazing on most of the sets in this series on the whole, but I do feel like they could have done better with less. Of course, it's also very, very annoying that I was missing so many parts, but that was just a single mistake that kind of multiplied itself out. Again, if that does happen to you, be sure to get it fixed. You don't have to just live with that, and certainly just complaining about it online doesn't help at all. So contact customer services and they will take care of you, or the store where you bought the product should take care of you as well. That's it for my look at this set though. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon because my next video is on the way.